Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold. All right, we're going into the code language conversation. The underdog versus the underrated. So let's look up what comes up for a definition for underdog. Definition of underdog. A competitor thought to have little chance of winning a fight or a contest. Again, definition for underdog. A competitor thought to have little chance of winning a fight or a contest. Now let's look up underrated. Definition of underrated. Not rated or valued highly enough. Definition of underrated. Not rated or valued highly enough. Miles said, big fight for sure. I like Bud, but I could see an upset too. So that kind of leads into the code language, right? Because which one would be an upset? I think it would be an upset. Yeah, I'm with you, Miles, the way you said it. I think Bud is the favorite. From a boxing standpoint, I believe Bud is the favorite. I don't know if Vegas has him as the favorite. Let's check real quick. Shout out to everybody tapping in from Classic Code Sports, too. I still love y'all. The football season ramping up. I got a lot of content coming for y'all on Classic Code Sports. Shout out to everybody tapping in from my sports channel. Right now, we streaming live on the Classic Codes on Twitch, the Classic Codes on YouTube, and Classic Code Sports on YouTube. But let's check the odds on this fight right quick on Bud and Canelo. I wonder if any odds is up. I want to see what that is because Miles said big fight for sure. I like Bud, but I can see an upset. I want to know if Vegas would see that as an upset, or is Canelo favored or no? Trying to find it. Boxing. Ray Ford fight on the 16th. That's what's happening. Canelo Crawford. Yeah, right now Canelo Alvarez is the favorite. He's the favorite. Odds is minus 190 for Canelo Alvarez just to flat out win the fight. And for Bud to just win the fight is plus 150. So you put 100 on Bud and you will win 150. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and then the odds of Canelo winning by decision, plus 120. The odds of him winning by knockout or TKO, plus 340. The odds of Bud winning by knockout, plus 850. So that's your play. For people that think that Terrence could win by knockout, plus 850 right now to put in a bet. You know what I'm saying? Now for Bud to win by decision, just plus 210. So that's what I'm saying. So right now, Canelo is actually the favorite. So yeah, Miles said, wow. Yeah, so right now, Bud is technically the underdog and he's being underrated. He's the underdog because he's being underrated. You see what I'm saying? Being underrated is not being valued highly enough. Being the underdog is seen to have little to no chance of winning. So they consider Bud the underdog because they underrate him. But this ain't even about Bud. This is just a simple code language in general. It can tie in with Shador as well. Shador is underrated. Being a 5th round draft pick, that's underrated. For his skills, that's an underrated draft pick. He should have been in the top 10. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Somebody in the top 10 needs his services. That's a fact. So, but looking at him as an underdog, that would be rooted in ignorance. He's not an underdog. He's not seen by me. He's not an underdog. Shador Sanders is not an underdog story. He's not seen to have little to no chance of winning or competing. I don't see him that way. I don't. So, but underrated, the NFL made it that way. They made it that way. And I think some people have to understand the difference too, because a lot of times people will call themselves, they'll be like, yeah, I've been the underdog my whole life, which by definition may be true. You may have been a person who is seen to have little of no chance of competing. But you got to understand that you could also be underrated as well. You could be seen as an underdog, right? but because of the work you put in, you know that they only see you that way because you're underrated. So I think in this code language, it's good for people to just identify the difference, use the terms accordingly. You know, we always going to discuss the terms and break them down, use the terms accordingly because it's important. You know what I mean? Sometimes like good coaches, they allow their team, they use these types of teachings to bring the best out of their teams when their team is seen on paper for whatever reason to not have a chance. And they let their teams know through some motivational message before the game or whatever the case may be, that just because people see you as not having a chance, we got to go out there and play. And they just like us. They men just like us. You know what I'm saying? Woo out the bam, they gas them up and let them know, like, shit, this ain't, we got just as much shot as them. This shit starting 0-0. So, yeah, you just got to understand what position you in and why. And I think it'll help your psyche going forward on how to attack whatever it is you're trying to attack, for sure, for sure. But yeah, what y'all think about this? Have y'all ever been in a situation where you were seen as an underdog by way of being underrated? You actually were better, but you were seen to be, you know, have little chance. And you knew like, shit. You think I'll have a chance? Like, I'm really the favorite. But since y'all don't get it, you'll see. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But you know what though? That's like some, you know, you get the last laugh type shit.
Classic.
Get the last laugh, man. You know, clout is a crazy thing because sometimes you have people that have so much clout, and them being the favorite versus the underdog is rooted in something superficial. It's rooted in something superficial. So whole time, you the one that gotta have your best game or your best night to compete. But it's viewed the other way around. How do we even get to that situation, chat? How do those situations come about? Where somebody is better, but viewed as an underdog. Is it generally rooted in popularity or lack thereof? Somebody just got a name for whatever reasons. What y'all think about that, chat? Miles Bachelor said, can't help who creates the rating system, but an underdog can use that perception to an advantage, for sure. For sure, for sure. Absolutely. You can 100% use that to an advantage. Depending on what sport, what life situation, I think when you know that you're actually better, but you're underrated, and so you're viewed as an underdog, when you're in the know of it, but the rest of the world hasn't caught up, they don't see what you see or know what you know about yourself in whatever said situation, doesn't have to be sports. I think it's important to pick and choose your spots for it to be seen and shown that you understand that you are cut above. Timing is great in creating that advantage that you're talking about. He said, but an underdog can use that perception to an advantage. Timing is very important in creating that advantage that you're talking about. Shout out to Miles in the chat,
Classic.
Man. I know a lot of people got me in the Bluetooth today. I know y'all out moving around. I still appreciate y'all being tapped in with me. I need everybody heavy on that like button, though. Like, go crazy. Lean on the like button, for sure, for sure. But that's the code language conversation for today. Underdog versus underrated. I'll read both definitions again in closing. Underrated, not rated or valued highly enough. Underdog, a competitor thought to have little chance of winning a fight or contest. So just, you know, act accordingly. You know, now that we got the understanding, we got the breakdown. Sometimes we can use this in the way that we all, I think, are tasked at some point with being motivational or inspirational to somebody else. So just, you know, think about these terms when you use them and how you want to use them to make sure you build somebody up for sure. But that's the code language for today. If you like what you just saw, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and jump in the comments. Talk to me so we could crack these codes. If you want to support the channel monetarily, go to my website and cop some merch, www.theclassiccodes.com. Or you can shoot me a Cash App. Either way, stick to the codes.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart and that heart